Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Good morning, Kiki. Good morning. They're in the far, not far east, just actually up in the mountains there. It's snowing, and that's where we actually were yesterday. So, I got to know about the weather forecast, and I kind of tried to escape the snow. We're a little bit stuck in the rain, but not overly crazy. And again, this is like BLM land on the east side of Richmond. And I arrived here last night, kind of in between situation, because I wasn't sure what the weather was going to be anywhere really. And so yeah. The wiki wiki! They absolutely love the rain and the snow. So I guess this was a great workout. And I'm like really like amazed by my dogs that they're so flexible, because I had to use a lot of practice to be able to like wake up and not really knowing where I am. But the dogs are like, they have this internal like sense of like this is really who they are, and it really doesn't matter for them where they're at. Given that I, provide like space that they can run around, and I've been pretty successful in that. And I stuck with it because I noticed that my dog, my big dog specifically, really benefited from an outdoor lifestyle. And he's actually great until we're back in basic urban areas. He still has a little bit of challenges, but he definitely like came around 180 degrees, and people who remember us from like 3 or 4 years ago, they're really amazed of how my dog came around. He came from not such good circumstances. Yeah, Baba. Yeah. You have all the space. It's all the space. Kati G. That's my Gardy G. Fierce as always. Yeah, so I escaped the snow because I wasn't prepared actually. I don't really spend the winters outside in the snow if I can. And the car is like a big blessing, but it's not set up to live in like the rain or cold really. It's not really set up to live in the first place in it, but it's really great for me. With my EDS syndrome, I can fold myself up and not being in pain as much as I would be in a normal home. That this weather would really not permit me to actually walk around. I'd be really bedridden. My back gives in, and I would have to crawl to the restroom, not be able to use the restroom actually, because dislocates things in my back. But here, I just roll out of my bed, and I'm able to use the restroom outside. You can like dig a hole and make sure that your stool isn't like left in the open. Like there are kind of like rules about that. Especially with the latest like Hep A outbreak. Come on, Kiki, come, let's walk. I actually don't know exactly where we are. I just know that I passed the BLM ranger station from this county or this region. It's actually called the Ridgecrest Regional, and because that always sort of signifies that there is space that you're allowed to like park at night, and again that we're welcome. It's a very like precious thing just to be welcome, and not necessarily have to pay an upper guy. I think we're paying like in different ways. Like I spend my time sometimes at Slab City, an off-grid community in Southern California, and I can do my art there, but I also learn there about different lifestyles. But there's a misconception of that living there is free. I would challenge that. I would say like it's living without rent to a tenant most of the time, but it means that everything is on you, the individual, or your family that you're raising or building, and I think there's a certain freedom in it, but there's also a lot more responsibility in it. Like right now, I'm pretty sure it rains there too soon, and there won't be a lot of sun for electricity, solar panels and stuff. Other days it's really great with the sun and having access to resources from nature to utilize differently, and but it's definitely not free. It just means it's on you. And for me that gives me more control because I can figure out things that work for me and my breaking down body. I'm gonna smell something. There comes Eggy. There she comes. Eggy! Come on, Eggy. And I think when I arrive at a place like this and am there just temporarily, I prefer to be like somewhere 3 to 5 days if it's like having water nearby, and like both water, like a creek or a river or a hot spring, and drinking water. And then the other thing that I'm looking for is like space for my dogs to be able to run about and not like have to be restricted under like basically the ADA law for service animals, that in businesses and public spaces is quite like strict, and for a good reason. But this gives them the freedom and to still be able to help me to get through the day and just feel really fulfilled. And again, I get sometimes a lot of like questions and judgment of me having several dogs. I'm telling you, these dogs, my dogs saved me. Like they save me every single day, and in another sense I have saved them as well, but in the end of the day they save me every single day. And the relationship I have with them is like beyond words. And I hope that I get to share a bit of my story of like how I escaped the violence in the Bay Area, in neighborhoods that I didn't have a choice over who I paid rent to, whether they were abusing me or not. And I had no choice to leave, supposedly. And I was told, with a good heart, that was the best option, to be there stuck in a situation like that. And I took a risk for my dog, and I was like, well, if I risk everything for my dog, why wouldn't I risk everything for myself as well and get myself out of the situation? And I have to say, not everything has been resolved, but my life, like, in this way has really 100%, 200% is extended my days with like a lot of quality. We're gonna look for water in a minute. Like that, I knew that wasn't here because this is kind of a morning walk, and then we often move to the next situation, and catching some breakfast, because it's kind of hard to like do fires, and even cooking with the stove is a bit hard. Guys, what are you doing? Come on now. Oh, they're rolling into a dead cow or something. So let me see. It's a big cow. There goes Kaya. She's running around with a cow. With a scout. They love that. They love it. Hey. I'm trying to figure out how to get access to Costco, because the dogs like really like a certain amount of like food there, or a certain type of food, and as much as I can get a lot of free food for the dogs, it's very complicated because it often hurts them to the tummy, not just the sweets, but the type of food. And like when I find the food that works for them, I really like to stick to it. Because when you live in a car, like myself as well, the food allergies or whatever works out, and if you have to go outside during the night, and like this is just a little bit from last night, that the food wasn't gluten free, and the gluten like in bread and pasta, and I couldn't sleep because this hurts a lot. Like, I don't know if you can see it. It's like breaks out real bad. Quite a lot. And my skin disorder is like both eczema, like this, like seriously, what is this? Like all of a sudden my skin forgets to become brown or black again. And then this like is kind of minimal because I spent a lot of time in the hot springs, which is really, really helpful. That water with sulfur and other minerals like Epsom salt and like is like life saving. And so that's where we gonna go to. It's just snowing there right now. And I'm also dealing with some like safety issues. Like I in general feel very safe where we wake up, because I know where to sleep legally, and this is really important, to not be extra quickly re-victimized if you have to sleep somewhere where other people can call in and they do. Like my voice even jumps about it. Like it's like they get excited about like getting other people in trouble or something. I'm not sure what it is, but it often is combined with violence or like being taken advantage of, and I am not a person who likes that. I don't know why that like seems to be coming back, or but it's not that easy as a female body person alone to like be out here on the road. I wouldn't not recommend it, but I would definitely say like keep your street skills near and practiced, because there are some smart people out there, and some of them are real MFers. Like they will leave you stranded with no car and no dogs, and that's kind of what happened now lately. That my car got hacked into, and yeah, it's just crazy. The code got somehow passed on, and the random people just terrorizing me with like opening and unopening my door, the alarm, setting it off. I can't set it off. It cost me a lot of money to like replace all the locks. I still don't have full access to my own car again, and those kind of things are like the worst nightmare when you're stuck in a situation like this, and it takes a lot of like effort and skill set to like be able to deal with that. Like so the part of that function that other people have control over is now the main function. So I found myself on, I think, January 2nd, in the middle of nowhere in a national forest, locked in my car, locked wheel, and knowing that the person who was going to unlock the car most likely also was the person who was going to try to steal the car again. And I was flipping out kind of on a hill, and then I was like, you know what, I know that there's someone near there with the key, and I was hoping, oh, maybe the rangers or someone will help me like get the towing or something. But it is then after 4 hours that there was a shutdown. There's a government shutdown, and that actually really matters for my safety in those situations. Like these kind of free public land areas and national forests are run by different districts. So often there's like the national forest, the national park services, the national forest services, the ranger station with different districts, the fire district, the police, the California highway patrol. They all can actually insist on like seeing your paperwork or search your car, and before you know, you actually sign away your rights, because it always starts with a random conversation, and you don't want to really be like, oh, I don't want to give my name, but which it's a little bit more likely to do when I run into just the police of like, hey, is there a reason why you need to like check my name? But with these other districts, it's a little bit more subtle, and their enforcement is actually larger. Like they can just pull you up and just pull up and